What's good, my nigga? I mean, fuck. Konnichiwa. Boku wa baji desu. Kokujin desu. Mongo ga daisuki. No, I'm kidding. Sort of. Hello, everybody. My name is Virgie, and today I'm going to be showing you how I would animate an anime fight scene. I am by no means a professional animator, but I have been told on occasion that my animation is pretty good. And it's been a while since I've animated a fight scene, like an actual hand-to-hand, like choreographed fight scene. And I wanted to do that again. And I thought, who better to have fight in a anime style fight scene than Playboy Carti and Lil Uzi Vert. I wouldn't call myself a Carti fan. I feel like if you call yourself a Carti fan, you want to fuck Playboy Carti, and that is not me by any means. But I would call myself a Carti enjoyer. I really like his music. I love Whole Lotta Red when it first came out. Like, I'm one of those people who, when it came out, I just got it immediately. Like, I understood what he was trying to do. And then Uzi, like, Uzi is Uzi. Like, he's Uzi. Like, how can you not like him? He's Uzi. Now, if I were being asked, like, who I think is better, I would have to go with Carti, just because Carti is way more interesting to listen to. I mean, Uzi, he has a lot of really cool, catchy songs, but he also has a lot of songs that are just like boring. I don't know, that's just me, but I digress. So today, like I said, doing this animation fight scene. So I went through the trouble of like coming up with some concept art for it, like just for reference and because I was excited to do it. We got Carti right here. You know, he's got his signature 2-strand dreadlocks, and I gave him his devil horns from that one photo shoot he did. Honestly, originally I was gonna go for a more vintage Carti look, just because I like the color scheme, and Carti was like more, I guess, aesthetically pleasing to look at. But fuck that shit, you know, it's vamp season out this bitch, you know what I'm saying? We got vamp Carti in this bitch. He can summon bats. I'm gonna make him summon bats in the animation. I also made sure to have his fingers painted black, his fingertips. God damn it. And now we have Uzi, which I was a little bit stuck on initially. I wasn't sure what hairstyle or what hair color I was gonna give the guy, but there's really no better option than purple hair Uzi. I mean, purple hair Uzi is just so iconic at this point. So we got purple hair Uzi. I'm just gonna give him a white shirt, really not going heavy on the clothing, because I'm not trying to be here all day. Like, I want to work on other things. I'm not giving them tattoos either. I'm just sticking with them in their base form. All right, got the V-Lone logo on the back of his t-shirt. Got his infamous diamond implant that costs, what was it, like 20 mil, some outrageous, obnoxious number. But yeah, we're gonna get into this. So for those of you who don't really care about the animation process, or you know, you're just here for the novelty of, hey, it's Carti and Uzi fighting, cool, you can skip to this point in the video. I'll have timestamps, of course. But for those of you who are like genuinely curious about like the animation process and how I go about doing certain things, this part is for you. So let's gander. Let's do it. So the first thing I want to go over is the 12 principles of animation. I have this right here on my phone. Just kidding. This is all from memory because I am a pro at this shit. All right, so the first most basic principle is squash and stretch. Think of squash and stretch as trying to establish the weight and, you know, properties and the mass of everything that you are trying to animate. The way something squashes and stretches, or the way something doesn't squash and stretch, says something about its mass and its weight. Compare it to like a bouncing ball and a bowling ball. If they were both dropped from the same, you know, height, which one is going to have more recoil and, bounce the most. Probably the bouncing ball, but the bowling ball is just kind of gonna hit the ground. And yeah, second principle is anticipation. Anticipation is kind of like wind up for an action. Think of like a pitcher throwing a baseball. They don't just throw the shit. You gotta you peel back and then you just you gotta let loose on that bit. Third principle is arcs. Now, arcs is not so important, but it's also really important at the same time, because our brains as humans really likes things that move in a circular motion or pattern. I don't know what it is, but arcs are just really appealing to look at. And when I say an arc, I mean literally like an arc. Like, I don't know, future me, put up a bunch of pictures of arcs. Like, don't you just love looking at that shit? Fourth principle is slow in and slow out. Now, this one is ultra, super, really important. It is used in every single medium of animation, whether it be anime or Disney animation, 3D, whatever, stop motion. Slow in and slow out is pivotal in animation because it makes things look more lifelike. It makes things more realistic. And the way slow in and slow out is used is like, say a car is coming to a red light and it needs to stop. It doesn't just stop in an instant. It has to, lower its speed to the point where it doesn't move. Same thing as if a car picks up motion again. It has to slowly get back to, that point it was previously, to the point where it's able to move. Straight ahead action and pose to pose. Now, straight ahead basically means like animating something and you're just going from one drawing to the next, just consecutive drawings, one after the other. There's no forethought, there's no planning, and that's basically the opposite of pose to pose. Pose to pose is where you map out a character's or an object's movements, and then you go back and fill in the in-betweens and the all this shit. I'll go more in depth on this later on, because pose to pose is actually a really big tool for fight scenes. So yeah, solid drawing, and then we have timing. Now, timing, I still don't understand timing, and I don't know. I think timing, you just need to have a good eye for it. It's something it's not really taught. And when I say that, I mean no one can teach you how to have good timing in animation. Your animation just has to look good. I mean, I'm doing a shitty job explaining it, but essentially timing is the amount of time that a drawing is shown on screen for. So if an animation is running at 24 frames per second, which is the industry standard, then that means that one drawing, if we're animating on 24 frames a second, meaning there's one drawing. I just tripped myself up, I'm sorry. All right, look, if I'm animating on ones, okay, there we go, ones. All right, ones basically means that, there's 24 frames per second. If I'm animating on ones, that means I'm making 24 drawings for 1 second, which no, don't do that unless you're like an expert. Assuming all of those frames are shown for 1/24th of a second, then that means that the action that you're drawing or animating is supposed to be really fast, or it's supposed to have some kind of urgency to it. But if I'm, say, animating on twos, which means that basically there's 12 drawings in a second, then that means the action is a lot more slower, it's easier to follow, it's less shaky, and that's also an industry standard. Very, very few animation productions, if any, have animated a full feature, full-length film on just ones. I know Akira is like known, like that's one of the big factoids people like to throw out, like, oh, it was animated on ones. No, it wasn't. You can go through and see that it was clearly not animated on ones. It was done on twos. Basically, the amount of time that a single drawing is shown for suggests something about its timing. Once again, the weight, the flow of the action of whatever it is. There seems to be a big misconception that in order to have smoother animation, you need more drawings or more in-betweens, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Very smooth animation comes from properly timed drawings and just interesting movement, period. And, you know, over time, you kind of develop an eye for interesting moving things and things that just look good. All right, and the last thing we're going to be talking about is exaggeration. Now, exaggeration is what makes animation animation. The thing about live action is that it's all fake. If something just doesn't look real, it kind of breaks the immersion. But with animation, you don't really have that problem because animation is allowed to break rules. It's allowed to break logic. And you can be taken aback and amazed by the spectacle of it all. And that's where exaggeration comes in. A lot of the time, animation looks fucking bonkers. And I love it. Just watch an episode of Mob Psycho. Any episode of Mob Psycho 100 and you will see what I'm talking about. That is my favorite anime. All right, let's get to this. Let's get to it. So I have about 9 or 10 seconds of animation done already. Before the fight scene, I'm gonna play it for you a little bit and commentate over it. So bam. So it starts off with Carti like swishing around his cup of lean, and then Uzi bumps into him. He spills the lean on the floor, and it's like glowing, and you know they gear up for their fight. I don't know. I just the idea of Uzi and Carti fighting because Uzi knocked over some of Carti's lean. I mean, Carti is a lean fiend. Have you heard some of those lyrics? I mean, like he just. I don't know. The guy loves his lean, and I wanted it to glow. I thought that would be really funny, just because lean is like, it's like crack to him. it's literally like crack to him. So yeah, they have these dramatic poses and they get ready for their big fight, and shit's about to go down between Carti and Uzi. Let me know who you think is gonna win in the comments. It's gonna be Carti. So I mentioned earlier how pose to pose is a really integral part of animating fight scenes, because every punch, every kick, every dodge, everything has to be mapped out properly. Otherwise, it's going to look jumbled and crooked. So that is basically going to be my workflow process. First things first, I'm going to be mapping out the keyframes, and keyframes are key. Literally, keyframes are super duper uber important when doing pose to pose, because it is the most important frames, and most often it's going to be the frames that are going to be held the longest and shown for the longest time. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now. I'll catch you guys after the break.
Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Get a vintage Almond Joy t-shirt. It's just one of 5 classics you can choose from, and they're all free with 15 proofs of purchase, shipping, and handling. Go to Hershey's.com for complete details.
And we are back with this stuff. Okay, so that was probably like a minute and a half for you. That shit was like 3 hours for me. So I mean, yeah, let's see what I got. Let's see what 3 hours of nonstop work and gets you in an animation. Let's check it out. Yep. All right. Now, to be fair, it's still sorely lacking in the, motion or whatever you would call it. I still need to go back and do the in-betweens. But for right now, these are the keyframes. These are the essential storytelling drawings that, you know, essentially guide the viewer to what's actually going on. And what you do is, once you have your keyframes, you go back and you fill them in, make the animation way smoother, and, you know, just do the ease in, the anticipations, just everything. This is all in order to make the animation look way smoother, way more consistent, and way more visually appealing. Because just this, I mean, it's okay. I mean, it definitely tells a story, but it's not, you know, where's the razzle dazzle, you know, where's the anticipation, the exaggeration, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And basically I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to leave my OBS running so you get to see the process of me just fucking about with the timing and the drawings and all of that. So yeah, future me, put in some fun facts while I do this shit. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready to suck cock. Okay, I don't know what the fuck that was that I just did, but check it out. I went back and I added in some breakdown poses, some extremes, some in-betweens, and this is what we have. Looks way more fluid, way more smooth. I mean, if you ask me, it's still shit, you know, because I made it, but yeah, I mean, it's better than what we had before. You know, you just gotta appreciate the something. And so that is essentially how I would go about animating hand-to-hand combat. Like, I'm gonna flesh out this fight. It's gonna have a few more beats in it. It's not just gonna be them hitting each other and missing. Want to do a lot with it, so join me next time and I'm gonna show you how to continue to make a fight scene in Adobe Animate. I'm using Adobe Animate. I don't know why I'm mentioning this at the very end of the freaking video, but I don't really think, personally, I don't think the animation software you use is really all that important. It's a much better investment to invest in your skill as an animator rather than the tools. You know, there are really talented animators out here using Flip-a-Clip. I don't know how y'all do that. I can't wrap my brain around that. It's just that's ridiculous. But yeah, join me next time. I'm going to be doing more with this animation right here, and yeah, get in the comments and comment something that you maybe want me to do a video on. You could tell me my hairline is crooked, even though you can't see me, but you could comment that. I mean, it's not wrong. Also, make sure to leave a like, follow my Instagram, follow my Twitter, all of it linked in the description. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time. Don't really know how to end the videos, but yeah. Wait, one more thing.